trapped by fear. I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman, keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. Heir to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger. Peace and love, family. Welcome again to the NEPPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with my brother and former political prisoner,
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today's episode, we focus on one of the last Wednesday we have available to conduct an episode dedicated to the International Working Women's Month. We recognize the contributions of international working women wherever they at. Black women, we salute you and your contribution to moving our people forward. We understand the importance and the responsibility we have as a people to recognize what you have done, because once one generation understands what the prior generation does, then they know what they need to do when dealing with any particular situations that's occurring. Today's episode, we want to continue to focus on the contributions of our sisters. One sister in particular we had in mind was a member of the Black Panther Party, and I think as well she was a member of the Black Liberation Army. We have somebody that's going to come on. Well, we expected for the person to come on and speak about this sister. Her name is Sophia Bakari, yes, and we're interested to hear what this brother has to say. Tariq Haskins, he was on our episode before, former political prisoner, former member of the Black Liberation Army. You know, we have to...
Top soldier, too.
Yes, we have to control our narrative, and we have to do it by controlling our media. So, Brother Abdul Haq Islam, when you think about our strong, empowered sisters, sisters like Afeni Shakur, like Sophia Bakari, and so many others, what comes to mind?
These are our female lions, our lionesses. You understand that, are very, very fundamental. You mentioned Afeni. Afeni was Tupac Shakur's mother. Um, Tupac's godmother was a solid Shakur, uh, uh, a well-known superhero in the movement, and these are the type of sisters that we look back on our history. They give us inspiration. They lift us up, Um, both Asada and Angela Davis, studying the things they said, both of them uh, relate the information that they came up during a time when the oppressor, was very, very diligent in trying to destroy our spirits and our will to win, to down press us, to make us feel that there was nothing that we could do about our situation, that would be that way forever, and that all efforts we would make for liberation was useless, and both of these sisters provided priceless examples that lifted up the spirits of our people. They gave us that courage, they gave us that heart, and we love them for that, and um, the most tall respect goes to our warrior women, Asada, you understand, a sister whose liberation from the hells of North America, from the gulag, you understand, um, was fire, and it gave fire to our movement, uh, being released from a system that purposely tries to destroy our humanity, she rose up and was liberated. You know, um, Angela Davis. Also, who chose the profession of a teacher. You know, on the war front. You understand, which is education. Right now, this is a critical war front where the enemy, has wants to take control of the education, to take control of our minds, to raise us to be mindless, to be helpless, to be weak and submissive. This is a sister, who fought on that war front, who was accused of murder, you understand, and being involved with the Soledad brothers, George Jackson, who she had fallen in love with, and she was accused of supplying them with weapons, contributing to the shootout in the courtroom. You understand? So these sisters are heroes. This is during Women History Month. This is some valuable history for our people to know, and to respect our women. You understand, and to give them the props that they deserve, and for other sisters
Absolutely.
to take on the example to be revolutionaries.
Absolutely. And from this book right here, We Want Freedom by Mumia Abu-Jamal, current political prisoner. It speaks about Afeni Shakur. Said Afeni Shakur walked tall and proud among these people. She admitted an inner strength and assuredness that made me say to myself, this is a black woman worthy of respect. So that's just to let you know the quality of woman Afeni Shakur was, and the fact that she was willing to take a position of leadership in the Black Panther Party. And I thought that was very important, because sometimes we're under the impression that the Black Panther Party was just about men. It was about us as a people standing strong, and everybody had a role to play. And a woman's role was very important, because, as we talked about before, the large portion of the Black Panther Party that the women made up. And when you think about the breakfast program, about medical programs, these are tendencies that women have, as far as being nurturers. And so that was very understandable that it came out of that portion of the Black Panther Party. And I think that when we talk about the Black Panther Party, we have to let that image of strong, powerful sisters resonate with us. Hey, man, brother, peace and love.
Brother Willis,
Peace,
right on.
peace and love, brother.
Peace,
I
Black
was
King.
waiting.
What's up, brother?
Hey, peace, brother. How
Everything
you
good with
doing,
you?
man? Yes, sir.
We're doing
Holding on,
good,
brother.
man. Yes, brother.
Uh,
So the brother Sophia A. Bakari, for those who don't know about her, as such as myself, because I'm not very informed about her, I want to be educated too, because this is a podcast about educating and being educated. So, brother, let us know about
Okay, Safia Bukhari was a Black Panther. She was the Minister of Information of the Black Panther, the Harlem chapter of the Black Panther Party. She took over after they arrested Brother Deruba Ben Wahad. He was the Minister of Information, but he was one of the Panther 21 who was arrested for a number of bogus charges. And those charges that was leveled against the Panther 21 are a case of the CIA carrying out an operation. And that operation was to convince the people that the members of the Black Panther Party were insane, and they were charged with wanting to bomb Macy's and Gimbel's stores that were frequented by Black people, and also they were charged with wanting to bomb a botanical garden. You know, so that's really insane, and so that's how it becomes clear that the botanical garden, and that's how it becomes clear that the CIA was attempting flowers, right? The CIA was attempting to convince the people that the Black Panthers were insane. And so once they arrested Deruba Ben Wahad as a member of the Panther 21, Safia Bukhari took over as the Minister of Information for the Harlem chapter. She was later, I was a rank and file at the time. That's how I got to meet her. My partner got arrested and I got arrested with him. And while there, I met in jail, I met members of the Harlem chapter of the Black Panther Party. So when I got out, I was hanging out with them also. Then I was introduced to Safia Bukhari. And Safia Bukhari also did time. She did about 8 years. And I think her co-defendant did even longer. But she was down in Virginia with 2 other Black Panthers who was acting as security for her, as I recall. And while she was in a grocery store, the grocery store owner and his son said that Safia and her 2 partners were attempted to rob the store, and they wasn't robbing the store. They had guns on them, but they didn't have the guns out. And I think one of the owners saw one of the guns, and so he killed the store owner, and his son killed one of the brothers and shot the other brother in the face. And Safia was there trying to help the brother who was shot, who later died. And she was captured and charged with murder and attempted robbery, and she did 8 years out of that sentence. So Safia Bukhari, after she got out, she continued the work of the Black Panther Party. You know, so yes, that's some of Safia's history. She continued to work, and she was a founding member of the Jericho Movement, which was a movement, and that movement is still in existence. And one of the principal tasks when the movement was first started was to go to the UN and present information to the UN that said that there were political prisoners in the U.S. jails, you know, because that was she wanted to establish that with the UN, and the UN to approach the United States to tell them that there are political prisoners in the United States jail and they should behave accordingly, you know. So that was one of the tasks, of the principal tasks of the Jericho Movement. That movement is still in existence. And as you know, back then, when the Jericho, back when we were in jail, the President Carter had said that there were no political prisoners in U.S. jails. And right after he said that, Andrew Young, who was a minister, he was the in charge of the UN, a delegate for the UN, the United States to the UN. And a reporter asked him, were there political prisoners in the United States? He said yes, and perhaps there are hundreds of political prisoners in the U.S., and Jimmy Carter fired him as a result of that. But that is to say that the officials knew that there were political prisoners in the United States, and that is one of the issues that Safia Bukhari worked on. And as she also worked on letting the citizens of the United States know that there were political prisoners and that they should be free because of the different things that they have been working on, and because many of the persons who were political prisoners have been framed, and Dhoruba Ben Wahad is one. He did 19 years, and ultimately he was released after it was established that he had been framed. And then Geronimo Pratt did 27 years, as I recall, and then it was established that he was innocent and he was released. But a number of persons, Mumia, we're still working with Mumia. We know that he is innocent, and the law enforcement especially know, because they are experienced in dealing with law enforcement issues, they especially know that Mumia is an innocent person. And so he has been framed also. And the government attempted to frame me for a murder, but I took the steps to avoid being captured on the scene, and then I would have been charged with murder, but it was a frame up. And so Safia was working on that issue. And that is what the Jericho movement is working on. So if you will, should I go on or what?
Well, the brother had a question for you.
Yeah. What is the function of Minister of Information?
Well,
How can that be used in different movements that exist today?
Well, the function of the Minister of Information is to let people know what the particular organization that person worked for is trying to do. For instance, one of the things the Black Panthers was trying to do was to re-Africanize Black people, and that is necessary for us to go back from transform ourselves from being a Negro back into being an African person, and then we will behave appropriately under the circumstances. And the Minister of Information is to let people know that that is one of the issues that the organization is working on, and let people know that the organization is working on a new school model, a new method for raising the children. And the new method of raising the children goes back to us being African, because if you were African, it takes a village to raise a child. And that's very important, because the way people raise their children, they raise their children in a way that they saddle the child with adult responsibilities, and that really messed the child up. And that really turned a lot of children into maniacs. A child has to continue to be a child until the child grow up. And if you saddle a child with adult responsibilities, many of them will morph into maniacs. And these are the people that are running this system. But if you raise a child, a village raise a child, then the parents can deal with the adult responsibilities, and the children can be with the children and continue to do childish things. And then we won't have a society that produces maniacs who want to establish an empire and want to take over other countries and make them customers, and regardless of the pain that's involved in making that other country a customer country, So the Minister of Information will put out information like that to let people know what the organization is about. Yes. And that's needed. I'm sorry?
Definitely a lot of need for that type of work today. For example, to stop the killing among our folks.
That's right. Yeah, go ahead.
Brother, I was going to say, when the sister Safia was gone, I know there was a strong campaign to bring her home, right?
Yes, it was.
Explain how that campaign works, so those who struggling to free political prisoners can learn from it.
Well, the campaign works in terms of letting people know what the particular person was involved in. In Safia's case, she was a Minister of Information, and She was a Black Panther, and the Black Panthers were trying to re-Africanize our people and trying to let them know that a socialist economic arrangement is better, because in a socialist economic arrangement, you don't exploit the people, and you don't exploit the people, and you don't do what's done under the capitalist system. The capitalist system know that because we are exploited and because we don't earn enough money to sustain ourselves, they know that we are going to rebel. And so what they're going to do, and what they are doing, is training people from the birth to the death, training, brainwashing people to think of themselves as pals or something, and and as animals, and so they will accept going along with this system, and they won't see anything wrong with it, and they will see the authorities as godlike figures, and so that's what the Minister of Information will let them know, that under a new system, you won't have this thing of training people to think of themselves as powers or something. And those persons who are not successfully trained to think of themselves as powers or something, they are either tortured or killed or locked up, in order to get them to comply. So under a new system, the socialist system, that those practices and techniques will not be involved. And the Minister of Information will let people know that, that a new system is a better way, and economically, and that we have to retrain ourselves, and that we have been trained wrong. We have been trained under a system, a hierarchical system, family situation. The father said, I'm the head of the family, and everybody else got to obey me. But that's basically saying I'm the superior one, and the children and the wife are just inferior ones. And that make the family prepared to live under this type of society. Once you said I'm the superior one and you was the inferior ones, that's prepared them to live under this society. But the Minister of Information let people know that's not the way. So a Minister of Information, in terms of a revolutionary organization, is a essential component of that organization.
I was going to say, why you think that the United States is in denial of political prisoners, and what happens if we don't struggle and fight to free our political prisoners?
Well, it's essential that the ruling class is only a few people. A few people. Let's say it's 5 million people, so they can't really. And that 5 million people, they're not going to really get out there and confront nobody with a gun. And once they see all the blood involved, how many kids got to get killed and that sort of thing, they're not going to do that. So what they do is they criminalize persons who resist them. And this way they can call in the law enforcement apparatus and use them. You see? That's why it's necessary to criminalize revolutionary, so that the few million ruling class people can call in the law enforcement apparatus and say, get that person. That person is a criminal, and they would be subjected to all the behavior involved in the law enforcement, labeling that person a criminal and locking that person up and putting that person through the court system. And the ruling class is able to use those apparatuses to accomplish what it is they want to accomplish. They don't want anybody saying anything, or anybody resisting anything, or presenting any alternatives to the present situation. And the ruling class is able to do that by criminalizing revolutionaries. And so that's why it's necessary for us to go and tell people that this is what is going on, that this person is really not a criminal, and this person is doing things to help you out. And although the ruling class will present the opposite, that the person is a criminal and the person is trying to gain things for him or herself, that is not the case. But the ruling class, they have the publishing apparatus, the news apparatus, the print and electronic apparatuses to use, and they have the law enforcement apparatus to use to declare a revolutionary a criminal and get those apparatuses to move against a person. And this enabled the ruling class to keep ruling the way they do.
You know, that's very important that you elaborate that critically, because not too many people are going to look at it that way, because we don't control the media and we don't control those ideas that are circulating consistently in our community and
Hmm.
amongst our people. What I wanted to address is that, you know, how important it is to write to a political prisoner. Because I know Sophia was down all them years. I know she got a lot of support, a lot of writings. And how did she describe, if she knew, what those writings meant to her?
Well, I know that she thought that that was important that persons was writing to her, because that let her know that things are working normally. You know, that people know, believe her, and believe what she has been saying, and believe in what she has been doing. They believe that she was working to help them out, and so that's why the authorities want to cut your mail off, and as part of they have to convince you, the, the the targeted person, that you are doing wrong. See, that's essential. And that's why they cut off our mail. You know, in my case, I know they had my mail in the warden's office, and we had to file a lawsuit to get it. Piles of my mail was in the warden's office. You know, a guy who cleaned the warden's office out, he let me know, and I let my lawyer know where my mail was going to. But that's important to convince the political prisoner that you are wrong for supporting the system, because the mail that come in will say, we appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for sacrificing to, to help us out, to inform us, and to try to stop these people from terrorizing us and stop these people from killing us, you know? So the mail situation is important. And so if a person can drop a person a letter, and that will let them know that, confirm and affirm to the person that the behavior that they have been practicing was the correct behavior.
Yes, yes, I agree with you 110%.
Information to the people.
Go ahead, brother.
About the Minister of Information getting information to the people, and and extolling a revolutionary way of life. So through the communications, that is a way of the political prisoners stand being in touch with the community and continuing that process, you understand, of bringing that revolutionary consciousness, that revolutionary commitment to the masses of people.
Yes, but I noticed that when I wrote to a political prisoner, Veronda Bowers, I wrote them 7 pages, and they sent it back. They said the minimum could be 5 pages. So they very petty, and they want reasons to deter you from writing them. But
That's
I
right.
was writing him back, writing him. I was still waiting for him to write back. What I think that these letters do is they strengthen the relationship between you and political prisoners, or our heroes, because that's what I call them. They're heroes. They're freedom fighters.
I got a short letter back that I wrote to Ronza. They sent it back, and it wasn't no whole lot of paper. It was one page, and the pig sent it back.
See, and
That's
that's what
right.
we got to understand. Wrong. Why would they want you to why would they want you to they would to send a letter back, right? We have to raise those questions, because now we have to understand, okay, there's something going on that's not correct, and we have to make sure that we fight for it. We're taxpayers. They use our tax dollars to build these prison industrial complex systems, so therefore we got to challenge them to make sure that they go
And
ahead,
that's
brother, raise your
right.
question.
And the citizen, the authorities is supposed to work for the citizen. So the citizens are supposed to tell the authorities, but you can see that the opposite is what goes on. The authorities tell the citizens that this is what the way it's going to be. And as I say, It's necessary for the authorities to convince the political prisoners that he or she has done wrong and that he or she is wrong. And one of the components of doing that is to withhold the mail from the person, because the mail was let the person know that the behavior you did was very good and it helped us out. So they want to convince the political prisoner that they are wrong and that everything they do is wrong. And so the mail situation one of the ways of preventing the authorities from doing that. The authorities are wrong. They are the wrong, and they are the leaders and teachers of everything that's wrong. So that's the way that goes with the authorities.
I got a question, brother. What was the method by the Panthers, to combat the enemy's plan to take our manhood and womanhood? As we study this history, as we look at this culture, we see that they wanted to use the term boy. They want to reduce us to children, you understand? To take the manhood, you understand, of the brothers and sisters and the womanhood of the sisters. So what was the vibe, you understand, of these among the Panthers, these rulers of the jungle land, you understand, to enhance and make black people stand up, women.
Right. That's why I said it was necessary for the Black Panthers to re-Africanize the Negro, because the Negro has
Yeah.
all the qualities that the authorities are trying to put in us, and that they call us boy and girl to say that we are subordinate and inferior. That's what that means. And then they want to convince us that we are stupid and that we are cowards. And so when we re-Africanize a person, we go back to the time when we know clearly that we are intelligent, that we are courageous, and that we are very valuable people. So we go back to that time. That's part of re-Africanizing ourselves. But the Negro is a person who has been broke and who accept this boy thing and this girl thing, and we can't have that. We can't not live like that. That's causing a lot of us to drink and do drugs. Every time you think about it, causes a lot of tension. To think of yourself as stupid. Let me point this out: the authorities, the FBI and the CIA, are people who are in a very painful situation because they think of themselves as stupid. They trying to let us know with all these scenarios that they are intelligent and that we are the stupid one. But it's very painful for people to think of themselves as stupid. So they are in a lot of pain. They are killing us to convince us that they are not stupid. That's one of the main things, that reasons why they're killing us, is to convince us that they are not stupid. And so it's a very painful thing. So that our people it's necessary for our people to re-Africanize themselves and know that they are intelligent. We are intelligent. We got to know that. And all these scenarios is for the purpose of convincing us that we are stupid, huh? So we want to know we are intelligent.
We come at that game where they try to make us think that they're superior, supremacy, white supremacy.
That's right.
Yeah,
but like
if you said enough.
If you watch all these movies, like I was watching Chuck Norris the other day, and they had a black guy there to look on him and admire him. All the James Bond pictures, they have a black man or a black woman who look on and admire James Bond. He's courageous, but that's to show that we look on the white man as being courageous and intelligent, and we are not supposed to think of ourselves as courageous and intelligent. Those are teaching us to think of ourselves as stupid and cowards. But The fact is, we are the ones we are courageous people and we are intelligent people. And that's why it's necessary for us to go back and read these examples and know that we are intelligent, we are courageous, and we are valuable entities in this world. The most valuable. A human being is the most valuable entity in the world. We are human beings.
Absolutely, brother. So in the spirit of Sophia, but we're gonna shut it down. We gave the people enough ammunition. We asked them to please share, donate $1, hit like, and continue to fight in the spirit of our warrior soldiers. What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them. Y'all are doing good. You're doing good for the people. Free them all.
Free them all.
Continue your work, brother.
No
Continue
doubt.
your work.
Free them all.